Tre Lovell is a defamation attorney and joins us now with some insight in this case. Tre, thanks for taking the time to be with us. So what could E. Jean Carroll's testimony mean for the amount of money that the jury awards her?
Well, she basically needs to convince the jury that she has suffered reputational harm because of the statements he's made, that she's suffered emotional distress with the threats that have come about against her, and then any other out-of-pocket or any other special damages, as we call them, that she has suffered because of the statement. So it's really her trying to convince the jury that it was his defamatory statements that ruined her life, put her into this series of threats online that were pretty much promulgated by the president's statements.
Yeah, and the former president could have his opportunity to testify next Monday, but Carroll's attorneys have asked the judge to limit what the former president can and can't say. So if you were defending Donald Trump, you're in the courtroom, what advice would you give him on whether he should testify?
I would definitely say testify, because a lot of this comes down to he said, she said, even with the damages aspect. And without him testifying, you're kind of missing the he said on it. So he can provide some very relevant and important testimony regarding his state of mind. Listen, I have no ill will or spite towards Miss Carroll. I was just defending myself. It's not personal. And as I would defend myself against any accusations that I didn't believe, had merit. And also to go at the aspect that, listen, nothing that I did caused damage to her. It was the article itself. It was the accusation itself that provoked such hatred from my supporters. I didn't need to say anything. And she would have suffered the same type of challenges and threats that she suffered now. So he can really provide some good insight that would make a jury, think, did she really suffer any damages? Did she become more famous? If you take a look at...
I was going to say, just going back to E. Jean Carroll and what her testimony could be, if she has to convince this jury that this damage has been done. I mean, how difficult is, from your experience in the court in cases like this, how difficult is it to effectively make that argument?
Well, it's kind of a two-part aspect of it. First is her testimony. This is what I personally suffered. This is what I personally felt. I haven't been able to sleep. I have to sleep next to a gun. Have certain security measures. And then she gives the insight into herself through her own personal knowledge. Then you have an expert step in, a reputational harm expert, maybe even a counselor for emotional stress. And then they corroborate what she's saying and said, yes, she has suffered damage and this is what it's going to cost to repair it. Or that she has suffered emotional distress. And these are the symptoms, and this is how it kind of translates into a monetary figure. So it's kind of her testimony on one hand, corroborated by experts to kind of do the full picture of why she's actually been damaged.
And she's already been awarded $5 million in her previous civil case against the former president. Even if she's awarded a large sum of money in this case, we know in the court system, it's not like they give you a big check right after the jury makes its decision. How likely is it that she'll see that money?
Well, she could. I mean, once you have a judgment, you have the ability to appeal it. And then you can, by putting up a bond, you can stake collection on it. So there is the appellate process that could delay it. But as long as the defendant is solvent, and as is Trump here, if the judgment stands, she probably has a pretty good chance of getting the money. But there are some appellate procedures and other procedures that could delay in that final rendering of actually having to pay with a valid judgment.
All right, Tre Lovell, a defamation attorney. Thanks for your insight. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Alex?